Hello, everyone. My name is Alper Yegin. I am the CTO of Actility, Vice Chair of the Board, and Chair of the Technical Committee in the LoRa Alliance. In this short video, I will be talking about a terminology issue we encounter in the industry, LoRa versus LoRaWAN. When people say this is a LoRa device, what exactly do they mean? Is that a LoRaWAN device or something else? That's the question. Well, first of all, LoRa is an RF modulation technology, whereas LoRaWAN is a network link layer and end-to-end communication technology. So using LoRa, we're able to translate digital data to radio signals so we can transmit them over the air over a long distance. And on the receiving end, the radio signals can be translated back to the digital data, whereas LoRaWAN provides framing, connection management, over-the-air security, roaming, etc. for the digital data transmission. So in a way, LoRa is like, as I communicate right now, I translate the neural signals in my brain to audio signals as my voice. And on your end, you translate the audio signals back to the neural signals to understand what I'm talking about. Whereas LoRaWAN is like the language. It's like English and French, where we can start and have a conversation. We can have a voice recognition to identify the person we are communicating with. We can have a group chat and things like that. When we look at the network communication stack, LoRa is at the physical layer at the layer 1, and LoRaWAN is the link layer that rides right above that. And in fact, LoRaWAN not only works with the LoRa modulation, but also with the FSK and LRFHSS. And this is a division of labor when we look at it from the network communication stack point of view. And so when someone says LoRa, either they are just too lazy to say LoRaWAN, it's like saying can instead of Kenneth or Kendall, or they have a proprietary link layer running on top of the LoRa modulation. So it's really important to understand which one it is. So then you might be wondering why anyone would use a proprietary stack over LoRa. The reason might be historical. By the time they start their project, maybe there was no LoRaWAN standard. If their project started prior to 2015, that may be the case. Another common reason is the not invented here syndrome, basically engineers being engineers. Instead of having to read a specification, they may go like, oh, that's a simple feature. I can build this overnight. The third common reason is misinformation or lack of knowledge about LoRaWAN. Some people think that the duty cycle limitation is imposed by the LoRaWAN standard. In fact, it is not the protocol, it's the frequency band regulation mandating such limitations. So whether you're using LoRaWAN or any other protocol, including a proprietary one, over say 868 megahertz in Europe or 915 in US, you are subjected to the same regulatory limitations. Another common reason is a need for a super niche feature that may not be available in LoRaWAN, such as a multi-hop mesh communication. And finally, vendor lock-in is the least, the last but not the least reason. And I would say it's the most harmful reason, as I'll talk about it in the next slide. It's basically a recipe for trouble for everyone. So why not use a proprietary stack over LoRa? First of all, there's no point in reinventing the wheel. LoRaWAN already has numerous bells and whistles. Any engineering spent on designing the equivalent and most of the time an inferior version of these features in-house is just an engineering and productization cycles wasted. Secondly, any company building its own proprietary communication stack over LoRa, they are doing so with either a few and most of the case by a single engineer and without getting much review. So in terms of the quality, reliability, scalability, and security solution, what gets built in-house is incomparable to what got designed by hundreds of global experts that has gone through numerous reviews by other experts. And finally, the vendor lock-in. That's a sure recipe for having a, for any customer, if you want to have a limited offering, limited solutions, and you want them to be expensive and you want to be locked in, that your deployment's faith is tied to the faith of the vendor, the company, and the product, then yes, definitely go for vendor lock-in. But for if you don't want any one of those, go with this standard. So if someone says LoRa device, ask them, is it using LoRaWAN or a proprietary communication stack? And if they say it's the latter, ask them why. And obviously, we strongly recommend going with the open standards and open ecosystems, and that's what LoRaWAN is for. We hope you enjoyed this video and you find it useful. For more reading reference material, check out the description part below. And until our next video, have a great day now.